Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Jeff Bacalar. Thank you so much for joining us right now. I'm joined by Scott Stein. How are you, sir?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm pretty good because we've had quite the week in the world of tech, specifically with Nintendo. They have announced their brand new hybrid console, the thing we've all been anticipating, all been expecting, the Nintendo Switch.
The Switch, and it's coming in March 2017. It's like right around the corner.
It's freaking 5 months from now, if you can believe it. And they've kept it under wraps up until now. We knew a little bit about the details, and some of that stuff kind of checked out. So what was your first impression of that debut trailer they released?
Well, it was kind of something that we thought about even when the Wii U first came out.
Right.
Like we were talking about it, that gamepad only worked with the console, and you think, well, they have a handheld, why doesn't all this stuff also work on the go?
Sure.
So in that sense, it looks like the Switch is that thing. It's a handheld and console, but it looks like it's more a handheld than a console. We were talking about that too, that maybe it's a handheld plus a little bit of console thrown in.
Right.
And then there's a lot of other questions about, like, you know, does that replace the 3DS going down the road? How interoperable is it? It looks like you got a lot of little pieces swapping in and out, and but I mean, it looks potentially like that all-in-one that we've been hoping for.
I think on paper, and when I say on paper, this video,
yeah,
I think it looks pretty cool. Look, I think Nintendo has earned the right. That massive catastrophic failure of the Wii U aside, I think they've earned a right for the sort of you know, hesitation, but optimistic sort of, like, you know, hesitation, right? Like, I think they've sort of earned that by this time.
I think so, and it's like, for how many years now, Nintendo is this company that we just expect weird things to happen with hardware. It's like, what crazy thing are they going to do? They become that company. The Wii with its crazy controller and glasses-free 3D, and even the DS with the dual screens. So I feel like this is another step in that, like, what is this crazy idea hardware-wise? And that's kind of half the appeal of what they're debuting. In fact, what we don't know, for the most part, seems to be a lot of the games and software.
Right.
And, like, how does this actually work?
All right, a lot of that cautious optimism is like,
yeah,
well, okay, what's this little, you know, controller about? What happens when I dock it? Does the dock change the way the game thing works? I think that, and obviously the biggest, you know, the big elephant in the room is, what's the battery life going to be like on that screen? For me,
exactly.
So what do you think? Like, what would you be happy with, and what are you expecting?
That's a good question. So we've actually seen a couple of things that are not entirely unlike this. I got yelled at on Twitter saying it's not the same thing, but
it's not. But
the NVIDIA Tegra, there will be a Tegra processor in this.
Right.
This thing, NVIDIA had a Shield tablet, you know, we've seen, that played games and also docked with a TV, and then you've had a couple of things that have been almost like that. I feel like 5 hours would be what I would expect.
I think that's too high.
And that seems way too high, right? Maybe anything lower than 3 would be awful.
I think if it is 3, that is
that's
massive upsetting detail. Like, there's no way this thing can have 3 hours. I think they're going to say it's like 4.5.
Yeah. I feel like for some reason, I feel like 5.
If they come out and say 5, I'm happy. Because all I really care about is that LA to New York flight.
Right.
Like, I just want to get across the country and do my thing.
Do you think they're going to have a battery pack?
Oh,
what are the odds that they're going to have an extended play pack?
This thing looks like it's 7 inches, 6 to 7 inches.
That's what I was wondering.
Right?
What do you think?
I think it's like 6 and change, maybe 7.
I feel like it might be. I was looking at it thinking, it might be 6.
I mean, look, that is wide, man. That is a wide
It is,
thing.
but then in that hand, compared to a phone, so like an iPhone,
right?
You know, the Plus is 5.5 inches, and all of our Android, so it looks bigger than your big screen phone, which would suggest 6 plus.
Definitely.
And the Wii U is a 6.2 inch.
Right. It's definitely bigger than 6.
Hard to tell with all the angles, and sometimes it's close up, and the question is, how big do you want it to be? Because some of these games they're showing, you're playing in split screen on that little screen.
Right.
Kind of like an iPad. So maybe it's almost an iPad, iPad mini 7.9.
I think that's where we're going. I think
almost 7 inches.
How big was the Shield?
The Shield was a 7-inch.
I think that's.
I'm trying to remember.
I think that's in the ballpark of what the Switch is going to wind up being. I think we go back to those controllers. They're called Playcon controllers. Oh no, what are they? Joy-Con. Joy-Con controllers.
Sounds like a convention. It sounds like
come to Joy-Con and
yeah. Right.
So I wonder how that's going to shake out. those things look real small.
Super small. It's kind of like a little cute. I mean, you got the mini NES coming out. It almost feels like a continuation of the novelty thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like little mini controllers and you're playing like a cute little tabletop Nintendo system.
For sure. I don't know. Again, all speculation. We haven't had hands-on with it. We don't know exactly what's going to be going on.
Right.
Do those little Joy-Cons have gyroscopes in them? Do they vibrate?
Right.
They need power because they're wireless. So
How long
how's
do
that
they
gonna
last?
work?
Right. Is that 3 or 4 hours? Is the whole thing 4 hours of play? Do they quick charge?
That dock, like I said, that dock can't just be an HDMI breakout thing. There's got to maybe something else is going on in there. It's got to put out 1080p to a TV, but maybe on the screen it can only be 720p. There's a lot that we have to discuss.
There's a lot of questions. And will it be, I mean, Nintendo hasn't given any answers. Nintendo did send back a couple of answers that were very vague, and that one was that it'll play all the games, suggesting that it'll play all games in both modes.
Right.
But again, will it play all games in with all the extras? Will there be things when you dock it, you get extra modes? And then you're in like away mode.
All I know is for a developer to program a game to work with all these different button configurations and control types, that is not an easy thing. Listen, we got to say goodbye for now. Scott Stein, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
lots of questions, maybe more questions than when we had before the new
We have
Nintendo
a lot of questions.
consoles.
Yeah, we were writing a story about coming up with how many questions, and we realized there were tons of questions, including price. And just what types of games you're going to play on this. Does it even have a touchscreen? We don't know. We
don't know. Big developer support list though. That's encouraging.
That
was really nice to see. But definitely make sure you keep it right here at CNET. We're going to have all the latest on Nintendo Switch because, as you can see, we're a little excited about it. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.